Hello, everyone, and welcome to Real World English. I'm Emma, and I'm delighted to be here with you today.
And I'm Jake. It's wonderful to connect with all of you listening. Emma, how has your day been so far?
It's been quite good, Jake. I had a lovely morning walk and then prepared for our podcast. How about you?
I have had a productive morning. I was actually thinking about our topic today while making coffee earlier. Speaking of which, shall we introduce today's important topic to our listeners?
Absolutely. Today, we're going to talk about something that many of us have experienced or will experience at some point: how to politely ask a roommate to be quieter.
That's right. Living with others can be wonderful, but it does come with challenges. And one of the most common issues is dealing with noise levels in shared living spaces.
I actually have a short story that illustrates this perfectly. My friend Sarah recently moved in with a new roommate, Alex. Everything seemed great at first, but after a few weeks, Sarah noticed that Alex liked to play music and watch TV late at night, often until 2 or 3 in the morning.
Oh, that sounds difficult, especially if Sarah needed to get up early for work or classes.
Exactly. Sarah was becoming more and more frustrated because she wasn't getting enough sleep. She started to feel angry and resentful toward Alex.
So what happened? How did she handle it?
Well, after a particularly bad night with little sleep, Sarah confronted Alex in the kitchen the next morning. She was tired and irritated, and she said, "You need to stop making so much noise at night. I can't sleep and I'm sick of it."
Ouch. That direct approach probably didn't go over very well.
No, it didn't. Alex became defensive and argued that it was their apartment too, and they had the right to enjoy their own space. The situation just escalated, and they barely spoke to each other for days.
This is such a common scenario. When we're frustrated, tired, or angry, it's easy to be blunt or even rude without realizing it. But there are much more effective ways to handle these situations.
Absolutely, and that's what we want to focus on today. We'll look at how to communicate the same message, but in a way that's respectful, clear, and more likely to get the response you want.
Let's begin by looking at some useful phrases for softening requests and making them more polite. These phrases can make a huge difference in how your message is received.
The first phrase is, "Could you?" This is a polite way to make a request. For example, "Could you lower the volume a bit at night?"
That sounds much nicer than giving an order. Another useful phrase is, "Would you mind?" For instance, "Would you mind using headphones after 11 p.m.?"
I also like starting with, "I have a problem with," because it focuses on how you feel rather than blaming the other person. Like, "I have a problem with loud noises when I'm trying to sleep."
And one of my favorites is, "I'd really appreciate it if." It acknowledges that you're asking for a favor. "I'd really appreciate it if you could keep the noise down after midnight."
These phrases are excellent for softening requests. But before we continue, we'd like to take a quick moment to ask our listeners to subscribe to our channel, Real World English. If you're enjoying this episode, please like and share it with friends who might find it helpful.
Yes, your support helps us create more content like this. And now, let's get back to our discussion.
Let's compare rude versus polite ways of expressing the same concerns. For example, a rude way might be, "Turn down that music. I'm trying to sleep."
Whereas a polite alternative could be, "I'm having trouble sleeping with the music at this volume. Would you mind turning it down a bit?"
Here's another example. Rude. "You're always so loud. It's driving me crazy."
And the polite version, "I've been finding it difficult to concentrate with the noise level. Could we work out some quiet hours that work for both of us?"
I think it's helpful to emphasize that being polite doesn't mean being weak or not expressing your needs. It's about communicating in a way that respects both parties.
That's an excellent point, Emma. Being assertive and being polite aren't mutually exclusive. You can clearly state what you need while still being respectful.
Let's talk about some other important aspects of these conversations. Timing is crucial. Addressing issues when both people are calm and not in a rush can make a big difference.
Absolutely. And body language matters too. Maintaining a relaxed posture, making appropriate eye contact, and speaking in a calm, even tone can help keep the conversation productive.
Now let's do some role-playing to show how these principles might work in real life. Jake, you'll be the person with the noise concern, and I'll be the roommate who's been noisy.
Sounds good. Let me set the scene. We've been roommates for about 3 months, and lately I've noticed that you've been on phone calls quite late at night, and the walls in our apartment are thin.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi, Emma. Do you have a moment to talk about something?
Sure. What's up?
I've been having some trouble sleeping recently because I can hear your phone calls through the wall at night. I have early classes, so I need to be asleep by around 11. I was wondering if we could come up with a solution that works for both of us.
Oh, I had no idea you could hear me. I'm so sorry about that. Of course we can figure something out. I could take my calls in the living room or keep them before 10:30. Would that help?
That would be really helpful. I'd really appreciate it. And please let me know if there's anything I can do to be a better roommate too.
Great role play. Now let's switch roles. I'll be the one addressing the noise issue, and you're my roommate who likes to have friends over quite often.
All right, I'm ready.
Jake, I was hoping we could talk for a minute when you're not busy.
Sure, what's on your mind?
Well, I've noticed that you have friends over quite often, which is totally fine, but sometimes it gets pretty loud, especially on weeknights. I have some important work deadlines coming up, and I was wondering if we could work out some quiet hours or maybe plan ahead when you're going to have people over. I'd really appreciate having some notice.
I hadn't realized it was bothering you. Thanks for letting me know. I can definitely give you a heads up before inviting people over, and we'll try to keep it down after 9 on weeknights. Would that work for you?
That would be perfect. Thank you for understanding. And of course, if you're planning something special, like a birthday, just let me know in advance, and we can work something out.
Great roleplay. Now let's highlight another helpful technique, using I statements instead of you statements. For example, saying, I have trouble concentrating when it's noisy, rather than, you're always making too much noise.
That's such an important point. I statements express your feelings without accusing the other person, which makes them less likely to become defensive.
Let's also remember that cultural differences can affect how people perceive noise and personal space. What seems loud to one person might be normal to someone else based on their background.
That's very true. Being aware of cultural differences and approaching conversations with cultural sensitivity can help prevent misunderstandings.
Now, let's summarize what we've learned about polite communication with roommates.
First, use softening phrases like, could you, would you mind, I have a problem with, and I'd really appreciate it if.
Second, choose an appropriate time and place for the conversation, when both people are calm and not rushed.
Third, use I statements to express your feelings without blaming the other person.
Fourth, focus on finding solutions that work for everyone, not just complaining about the problem.
And fifth, be aware of cultural differences and approach conversations with sensitivity and respect.
Before we conclude, we have a task for our listeners. We'd like you to rewrite the blunt statement, stop making noise, in 3 different polite ways using the phrases we've discussed today.
Take a moment to think about it. How would you transform stop making noise into a polite request?
Here's what it might sound like. First version. I'm having trouble focusing. Would you mind keeping the noise down a bit?
Second version. Could you please be a little quieter? I'm trying to study right now.
And third version. I'd really appreciate it if we could have some quiet time for the next hour or so.
Remember, the goal isn't just to be polite for politeness' sake. It's about communicating effectively to maintain good relationships and resolve conflicts in a way that respects everyone involved.
Exactly. Effective communication skills like these are valuable not just with roommates, but in all areas of life, with family, friends, colleagues, and partners.
We hope you found this episode helpful. If you have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover in future episodes, please let us know in the comments.
And don't forget to subscribe to Real World English for more practical language and communication tips. Sharing our channel helps us reach more people who might benefit from these conversations.
Thank you so much for listening today. Remember, good communication is a skill that gets better with practice, so don't be discouraged if it feels awkward at first.
That's right. Keep practicing and it will become more natural over time. We'll be back next week with another helpful topic.
Until then, take care everyone, and happy communicating.
Goodbye, and thanks for listening to Real World English.